Hello there, and welcome to the Double Zero Challenge channel. We do just one thing on this channel, and that's to take these two D10 dice and see how long it takes before we roll a double zero. If you would like to play along, please write down your answer now, but keep it to yourself. Don't put it in the comments. Let other people watch the video and find out for themselves. There will be other things to explain as we go along, but let's get cracking. So, roll number one. And that is an 8 and a 6. I'll read them all out as we go along. And that is a 6 and an 8. And that is a double 3. Now, although we're actually looking for a double 0, we'll take account of any other doubles we encounter on the way, because there should be a few, depending. Hypothetical odds, of course, are 1 in 100, but does that play out in real life? Not very often. Oops. Okay. Right, that's gone off camera there, but it's a 3 and a 4, so it doesn't make any difference. If you're a regular viewer, you know there is minimal editing, so if that sort of thing happens, you will probably see it. Carrying on now, and that is a 3 and a 5. And that is a 9 and a 1. And we have a 5 and a 3. And that's a 4 and an 8. And that's a 7 and a 1. We have a 5 and a 2 there. And that's a 1 and a 9. That's a 0, but it's a 3. Remember, it's a double 0 we're looking for. And we have a 7 and an 8. And that's a 1 and a 2. And a 2 and a 5. And that's a 9 and an 8. We have a 5 and a 6. And that is a 9 and a 6. That's a 0, but it's a 6. And we have a 7 and a 5. And that's a 1 and a 4. We have a 0, but we've got a 3. And that is a 6 and a 2. And a 5 and a 4. And that's a 7 and a 5. And that's an 8 and a 1. We have a double 4, second double of the session. Remember, they don't count. We are just tracking them for curiosity. And we have a 9 and a 2. And that's a 1 and a 5. That's an 8 and a 5. And we have a double 2, third one of the session. And that's a 2 and a 5. And we have a double 6. Great if we were rolling d6s, but these are d10s, so we carry on. And that's a 6 and a 5. We have a 0, but we have a 5. And that's a 5 and a 4. And we have a 2 and a 1. And we have one on the floor. Okay, let's work this out. So it's an 8 upstairs and it's an 8 downstairs as well. There we go. Let's not waste the roll. Thing is, about this cup, it's very clacky. It's very good, but dice like to jump out of it. So stay until you're told to. Got on with it. I'm going mad myself now. So that's a 9 and a 2. And we have a 1 and a 5. And that's a 5 and a 7. And that's a 7 and a 6. That's a 0, but it's a 6. We have a 9 and a 9. That is our 6th double of the session. It's a 0, but it's a 6. As we approach roll 50, that's when we do the massive roll, the double-hander one. We do that every 50 rolls. So that's coming up very shortly. But first, 3 and a 7. And that's a 2 and a 6. We have a 0, but we have an 8. That's a 7 and a 3. And roll number 50. It's a 4 and a 5. So we carry on for 100 rolls. And that's a 0, but it's a 7. That's a 0, but it's a 2. The dice gods like to tease us sometimes, so they must be in a silly mood tonight. And that's a 9 and an 8. That's a 0, but it's a 9. And we have a double 4. Sling that on the pile. And that's a 0, but it's a 4. We have a 0 and a 4. Oh, go. And that's a 1 and a 4. And a double 4. A lot of 4s happening today. Right. A 3 and a 9. And that's a double 2. And that's a 1 and a 7. We have a 0, but we have a 1. Close, but no healthy alternative to cigar. And that's a 5 and a 6. And we have a 3 and an 8. We have a 0, but we've got a 3. Oops. Okay, let's just both jump out. We've got a 3 and a 5. And that's a 2 and a 1. We have a 7 and a 4. And that's a 1 and a 5. And that is a 9 and a 5. That's a 2 and a 4. A 4 and a 1. And that's a 7 and a 9. Oh, 5 and a 7. Despite it disappearing off the top of the screen there. Them down. And that is a 5 and a 6. It's a 4 and a 9. And we have a 7 and a 6. That's a 0, but it's a 6. That's a 0, but it's a 3. That's a 0, but it's a pain. It's a 7. That's a 0, but it's a 9. That's a 0, and it's a 0. Fantastic. Thank you, Dice Gods. That was entertaining. Okay, let's add this all up. So that's 50, 60, 70, 83. Slightly beating the odds of 1 in 100. And on the way, we encountered 9 other doubles. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for watching, and you take care and roll on next time.